Alright guys, it's Thursday morning. This is our qualifying day for open wheel this year. Everybody qualifies in the lower section. As we rotate through the sections, whenever you land on your lower section during the week, that's the day you qualify on. Now obviously Pikes Peak doesn't run all the cars together, so the reason your qualifying position is important is because it determines the run order. For example, we ended up qualifying 17th. That's the video you're about to run is our qualifying lap. And that puts us, I think, 35th or 37th in the run order. There is, I believe, Exhibition and Porsche Cup drivers go first, and then it starts the qualifying order based on overall qualifying time. And it's not by class, it's by overall, so you'll have a mix of classes in the run order there. For us, our first pass up the mountain was just a reconnaissance thing, make sure the vehicle was okay, everything was looking good. So this is the same tune-up as the first lap. This ended up being our final qualifying time. We went up for a third hit, but everything went to hell then. So I'll show you a video of what happened and explain that in a second. After you watch this, this is a pretty good run from Paul. You can hear him really easy, cautious in the beginning, and as the run goes on, you can hear the RPMs come up, the shift points become a little bit later, he jumps on the throttle a little bit quicker. He came back saying there was 5 to 8 seconds left on the table, he felt, and he was pretty consistent with that all week. This was a 4:13. Those 5 to 8 seconds would have bumped us up from 17th to, I believe, 13th in the run order, for what that's worth. So yeah, check this out. think, Jonathan?
Absolutely not.
How we doing?
I never regret saying.
Are you camera shy?
I don't like cameras.
You don't like cameras?
No. I didn't shave and I didn't get a haircut. So.
Oh, it's because you're funny looking right now.
Yeah, makeup didn't show up this morning.
Makeup didn't show up this morning?
It's a bad situation.
So how are we doing? What did we just run? A 13?
We ran faster than we have before, faster than this car has before.
Yeah.
By about 8 seconds, I think it is.
Okay.
So we've got a lot left in it.
Yeah.
I don't think we've got record or pole or anything like that, but I think we got a good race day set up, as people say when they're behind in qualifying.
Right.
You know, we're not really set up for qualifying, so race day ought to be really good.
Yeah.
The car should come to us in a long run. Yeah, we're pretty happy with the balance.
Yeah, cool. So we just put, what, 2 pounds of boost in it? 3 pounds of boost in
I
it?
hope we put like 10.
I think we put 3 pounds of boost in it from before, left the chassis alone.
Yeah.
And just gonna send it up the hill?
Yeah, we haven't touched the chassis since we got here, so.
Yeah. All of our hard work's been paying off.
Yeah, we can't ask for better than that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think we're right on the money. We just got to get put the power to it and let him get the shift points figured out, because we just got brand new gears. Not to mention, this is the first time we've run on the bottom with this car ever.
Right.
So, new gears, don't know shift points, don't know anything. So, you know, 412 is really pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're getting faster. We're getting quicker this time.
It'd be cool to see a 359.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be cool to see like a 3, but
Yeah, 3 anything.
yeah, I think Paul said if he runs a 4 flat and below, anything 4 flat and below is a win.
Perfect.
So, we do have experience on our side. I'm not saying he's old, but
You're totally saying he's old.
I'm not saying he's old.
I'm gonna send this to him when I get it done.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's old, but he does have more. He has run this race more years than I've been alive.
Right.
So when it comes to race day prep, he doesn't really need to do any. So if we're gonna win it, we'll win it then.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, what the fuck?
It just quit.
You don't like it.
It lost everything.
Rick,
It's not a Rick thing. We got no power at all.
Here, let's go ahead and back him up over here.
326, 11 miles. 326, 11 miles.
Was it like power
got-
just shut off?
Yes.
Cycle the key restart.
You don't get it. We have nothing.
Come on up.
All right, guys. So as you can tell, everything kind of went to hell there. What happened is this has an anti-gravity battery in it, which is a lithium-style battery. The battery has a safety built into it. What that safety does is when the engine sees, or in the battery, sees under, I think it's like 10.3 volts, the battery just shuts off. Now you're thinking, okay, well, it's sitting there running. Thing has a charging system on it of some sort, obviously, right? Why did the battery go dead? Well, the charging system on this thing's a little unique. So it's a Hayabusa engine, which has a stator that's a generator, right? It creates a 3-phase voltage. It goes through a rectifier that converts it to something that we can use to charge the battery. The problem is with that sitting there at an idle, that generator doesn't produce enough voltage to actually charge the battery. So this is a little bit of error on our part, a little bit of user error. Now the reason I say that is that the anti-gravity battery is regulated at right around 13 volts fully charged. Very different than your 12-volt system. Well, I had just overlooked that thought when we were sitting there with the car running. It was maintaining voltage, but the voltage it was maintaining at an idle when we were putting heat into the car and that kind of thing was only 12 volts. So essentially, the whole time it was draining the battery. Now, we were doing this with a trickle charger hooked up to it, because that's the only kind of charger you can really use on this style of battery. It's not a big amp thing. I think its peak amperage through the charger is like 4.3 amps or something. It's a very, very slow process. So what that meant is when it was sitting there running, it was actually draining the battery, and we didn't realize that. So when we got up to the line here, we were letting the thing sit, run, whatever, and then it just shut off because the battery shut off. So what we ended up doing is we started to change the battery. We didn't have a spare battery, and then we found somebody, actually Reese Millen had a jump box that worked with the quick connect on the back of the car. It has a jump port, like a mini terminal deal. So we hooked a normal battery up to it, got it running enough to believe to make an attempt at a pass, but the battery voltage was so low, it actually saw 9.9 volts in the data log right after he left the line. So it does have a normal alternator on the system, but it is gearbox driven. That normal alternator doesn't start until it's over 40 miles an hour. So anytime he would go under 40 miles an hour, the voltage would fall out, and then he'd get back up and it would recover and just run on the alternator. As a result of that, it developed a very bad misfire, and it just didn't run clean. So we scrapped the last run. We kind of went back, found another battery to put in it that was a normal lead acid style battery, and it was an AGM, I believe, power sports battery to put in the car. And we ran that for the beginning of the next day, but we had developed some other issues resulting in that from running the car in such low voltage. I'll touch on that here in a second. But yeah, we ended up leaving the anti-gravity battery on the charger overnight, and it actually came back to life, and we ended up switching that on our final test day on Friday back into it, and we ran that on race day. We didn't have a problem with it after that. But interesting, self-inflicted error there. It's kind of part of the game, I guess, but here we go. We're going to move into our test day on Friday. Watch one of these runs. Listen to how it runs. You'll hear the thing misfiring constantly, and we just can't get it off. We just can't get the misfire sorted out during the day. So check this out. I'll explain to you what we discovered and how we moved away from it. Alright guys, so it's Friday. This is an optional test. We do not have to do this. We were back in the middle section where we started. We decided to take this just because we were trying to sort out the misfire and to get Paul some more seat time in the car. Have to remember, he's maybe driven in the car for a total of 30 minutes and he's about to compete in the most dangerous race in the country. So seat time is definitely beneficial at that point. So we started this with a full charged AGM battery, went up the mountain, had a misfire, came back, threw the battery in the trash, put the anti-gravity battery in the car with a full charge, 13 volts in it, went up the mountain, still had a misfire. We changed the set of plugs, gapped them down to 18. The other set that was in it was already at 18, trying to fix the misfire. It didn't help. So we came down the hill, it ran clean for one pass for a couple corners, and then started breaking up again. Paul was able to round robin at the end of the hill, but we basically made through the whole test, just getting him some seat time with the thing running poorly. So yeah, listen to this thing go up the hill. He cuts this run pretty short, but we found the solution after this the next day in a parking lot. I'll explain that in a second. Okay, so the next day we went to the parking lot at PPIR. They were nice enough to rent us the parking lot for a couple hours. We went there, made a couple changes. One thing we changed was the transistor, basically the igniter that runs the coils through the ECU, the connection between the ECU and the coils, thinking that the low voltage hurt it. That helped it immediately, which was awesome. Next thing we did is we leaned the fuel mixture out quite a bit. That the thing ran perfectly clean. Paul had to leave to go to a sponsored deal, so I took the thing for a little spin, but listen to it, it sounds really good. Alright, so after changing the transistor and leaning the fuel mixture out, the thing finally ran good again after all the other issues we've had. Man, what a struggle we've had. But this is at a very different elevation than the starting line, so going into the race day, we're unsure how well it was going to run. We were more confident than we had been, but you just never know. So Leaving there that night, a storm rolls in. It gets rainy, cloudy. It'd been beautiful all week, as you can tell from the videos. And then this is Pikes Peak, though. You just never know. That's why they say the mountain decides. This clip here is just too good to throw away. This is Jonathan driving to the parts store. He refused to move the seat that Jessica had been using, so she didn't have to readjust her seating position. So instead, he would rather drive with his head on the ceiling and knees in the dashboard all the way to the parts store. But I couldn't throw it away. But anyway, look for the next video for race day.